Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer. I'm the TPM of Lotus team at Protocol Labs. For people who has been around with the Filecoin community, you probably know me as Jenny Juju from Filecoin Slack and GitHub. And today I will give a quick introduction to the Lotus team and what we do, what is Lotus. So on the agenda, we are going to start with what is Lotus in case you haven't heard about it already? What are we trying to do here as the Lotus team? Who are the Lotus team and what do we do at the Lotus team? I'm gonna get a very quick high-level second half of the year roadmap of the Lotus team. And if any of you want to engage with the Lotus team more and maybe you want to join the Lotus team, this is a talk you want to stay for. So first thing first, what is Lotus? If I really want to talk about Lotus, I probably can keep you all here for the next 24 hours. However, we don't have the time for that. So actually, we are going to have a deep dive of Lotus later this afternoon by Ayush, also from the Lotus team. So I'm going to try to give a quick 2 minutes version of it. So one sentence summary, Lotus is the reference implementation of the Filecoin network. What that means, what is a reference implementation? So what that means is we need all the things that's needed for the Filecoin network to exist and to be functional. We need this piece of software to support Filecoin as a network, as a public blockchain. So there's a lot of components about Filecoin network. We all know it's a very complicated system. So to start with, we have the protocol level of the Filecoin. So the protocol, according to the Filecoin spec, we have system actors that lay out what you can do within the Filecoin network. We have the consensus algorithm. We have defined token economics of the Filecoin network to start with. And then you have the node, which is implemented in the Lotus daemon binary. The node is the thing operators can run to sync with the rest of the pairs in the Filecoin network. You can also get the chain states, sending messages, managing your mempool, and also update the chain states, and also interact with the Filecoin networks throughout different interfaces, for example, JSON RPC API. Then, as we know, Filecoin network, just like any other public blockchain network, we have a role, an actor that contribute to the Filecoin consensus. And for that, for the network, it's storage provider. So Lotus miner, Lotus worker, these two binaries are used by storage provider for them to onboard data storage onto the network and keep proving that they are still committing the storage they claim to be. And they can also, as they onboard more data, more storage to the network, they gain more power. And as a result, they make more contribution to the network. You will be getting more power to actually earn a chance to produce block and keep the Filecoin network growth. Now we also have a very super critical user group of the Filecoin network. It's the end user, so basically storage client. We need this client to store the data into the Filecoin network, and Lotus have this client binary to enable users to do that. So other than the consensus protocol, we also have the market. To become a very useful storage network, we have to have this storage and retrieval market to make all this useful data exist and stored onto the network. So that binary is empowered by the Lotus market. It handles the data transfer between the client and the providers and deal with the deal making, negotiation and deal onboarding to the network. And we also have a lot of other random user utils component that we have to support for our users, for our community. For example, a very basic wallet, so folks can create Filecoin account to receive and send Filecoin, and also to a more advanced multi-sig things that you can manage your fund with across multiple signers. So we also have on-chain payment channels that folks can use to make the deals. So I hope I only covered those in 2 minutes, but even within 2 minutes, it's a lot of the things. It's a lot of the component that one piece of software is trying to deliver today. However, these are all the things that we needed to launch Filecoin as a network and make Filecoin actually usable by the users. So we built this software in early 2020, I believe, and then we had been shipping a lot of test nets, more than 30 releases, supported 12 network upgrades since mainnet liftoff, and as we are doing that in the past 2 years, the Filecoin ecosystem and community has grown. There are more and more developers started to join us and building the Filecoin network with us. That is why last year, December, we have decided now maybe it's the time for us to scope down what the Lotus will do and scope down the mission of the Lotus team so that we can work more collaboratively with the rest of the Filecoin ecosystem and developers in the community. So as a result of that, we have decided for the time being, it makes the most sense for the Lotus team to hack on and serve the following user groups. So first, most critical, Filecoin network. We want to continue to implementing FIPS as Filecoin improvement proposals and standards for the Filecoin network to keep the protocol involved and to make sure that serves our users' needs. So all these protocol improvement or changes, as we all know, it's a blockchain. Whenever something consensus critical has to change, we have to deliver or we have to do a network upgrade so that everyone agree to the new consensus. We do that by shipping mandatory releases of Lotus. For example, the latest release of Lotus, B1.16.0, which was shipped about 2 weeks ago, is going to be supporting network NV16 scale upgrade that's coming less than 24 hours. It's very exciting. We're introducing Filecoin virtual machine into the network, so I'm kind of nervous right now, but everything will be great. So that is the baseline, and then we also have other user groups that participate in the Filecoin network. To start with, we have node operators. Obviously, we need them to sync the chain to keep the blockchain alive, to be able to store and curate the chain state. Then, as we all know, storage provider is very important to us as they are the storage provider. They are the storage provider, service provider of the network. So they also produce the block to keep the network alive. In the past 2 years, we have been focused a lot for this user group. We are still gonna continue to develop and ship a couple of user experience improvement just so we can help this group of folks grow and provide enterprise level of storage service. However, as we move forward, if you were here for Raul and Karim's talk about FVM M2, which is another milestone we will be shipping later this year, we are expecting with FVM a lot of developers will be joining the Filecoin network, building different use cases on top of the Filecoin network with all these amazing data that's stored into the network. So that is why we think we want to focus a little bit more about the developer community in the next couple months so that they can build toolings, applications, business use cases on top of Lotus. Now that brings me to the little box on the right side. So what that means, this is actually the area we're trying to scope down from for the Lotus team. So there are components that Lotus will still continues to support. However, the Lotus team ourselves won't necessarily build. To start with, as we all know, market is a critical component for the Filecoin network. However, there are a lot of other amazing teams that is building a very specific piece of software just to deal with deal mating, to cover the data transfer between the client and provider, or serve retrievals from data provider to the end user who wants the data. So the Bedrock team at Protocol Labs, they are building Boost, which is the new market protocol. We also have Store the Index team that is building this inter-job IPFS and Filecoin content addressing indexer node for any user to be able to get their data to any provider stores them. We also have the Saturn project. They are building a CDN network for the Filecoin and with other storage network. We also, and for the end user, I would never want any end user to use Lotus to onboard their data because it's a pain in the ass. Like, I won't even use it myself. There's a lot of like people building amazing applications like S3 Bitbot, change the file, Web3 storage, make it super easy for end user. You don't have to understand blockchain. You don't have to know about Filecoin. You can just use this application to save the data that powered by the Filecoin network. And last but not least, we are working on blockchain. We want to, monitor the network. We want to understand what's going on within the network. A lot of tooling, monitoring, block explorer is needed. We have a lot of like NetOps team, DevOps team are building that, like Sentinel, Lily. We are also having people building reputation system. So all these things I just described are super critical for the network. However, we do feel like the goal of the Lotus team will be supporting these teams to building on top of the Lotus and enable different cases for the Filecoin network, because there's only this much we can do. Now, the last but not least, we're working in Web3. The ecosystem community is the key. We want to continue to deliver the things the ecosystem needs, like test networks. We want to be training technical support engineer, dev routes, so that they can, support the community and support the partners along with us, and onboarding new users so that they know how to use and build on top of Filecoin. So, again, a lot of things to do, and we're super excited for that. So who are the team working on those things? Surprisingly, we are a relatively small team. As you can see here, you have me as a TPM of the teams, and we have 4 core engineers. That's Ayush, Sangrant, Sarah, Magic, Jov. A lot of them have been here since day one of Filecoin. They know Lotus. They built Lotus and Filecoin network from the ground. And we also started this new team called TSEs. They are our technical support engineers. They help answer tons of questions about how to run Lotus, how to be a storage provider for the Filecoin network. They are also your resources to ask for information. So if you, for example, if you want to know more about Filecoin Plus, you don't know where to get the information, tag Lotus TSEs, they will point you to the right places. So that's our team. As you can see, we'll also have the cats going on there. It's a scene. Basically, in our stand-up, our cats join us. So those cats are actually our cats. So if you are a cat person, this is the right team for you to hang out with. We also love dogs, by the way. I don't want to start a war. Anyhow, so what is it like to work in the Lotus team? Again, as we all know, we are working on this open source software for a public blockchain network. We try to work in the public. The space we work at is Filecoin Slack. Everyone can join that. You can find us easily in that workspace. The team, like the network, like the storage provider of the Filecoin network itself, we are globally distributed. We work remotely and on an async base. However, we do have a virtual field office. Basically, we just drop in and hang out with each other, talk about cats, and potentially hack on building something cool. And we also do a lot of in-life events, like at team weeks and hack weeks. We kind of do semi-agile planning just to make sure we actually deliver the mission I just described to you. Why I call it semi-agile, because we also want to empower the developers, the engineers that work on Filecoin Lotus, have the chances to work on their own initiatives and motivations, what they're excited about, to make Filecoin network more useful and accessible for everyone. We also care a lot about community building, and that's why we are here talking to you all and be a part of the Lotus team. On a daily basis, we are trying to building one of the largest storage network in the planet. That being said, there's non-stop challenges a lot of interesting problems that like we are trying to solve, and we are a part of the core dev implementers team, along with Venus, Consensus Lab, all those teams within the Filecoin network. And in general, we just engage with a lot of amazing human beings and try to do something different for this world. So that's what it's like working in the Lotus team. All that being said, a very high level of what we are going to be focused on for the second half of the year. So first, we are going to ship another network. After tomorrow, we ship FEM. We are going to work on the next network upgrade so that we can do implementing a couple FIPs so that we can enable unblock some programmability for the FEM. And then we will be supporting with the FEM team to help them launching the programmability, user programmable EVM on top of Filecoin. We also know Filecoin has a ton of storage that involves a lot of states to be stored in the chain state. So for anyone that's running a Lotus node, we will be having a better chain management experience for you, empowered by Split Store. And we also, again, want to help the storage provider to scale. So we have a lot of this scalability improvement that's coming on the way. We want to make sure everyone has a secure operation and they can secure the fund by providing all these services to the network. So remote wallet management is another focus of ours. To empower the developer community, of course, we are going to have a set of amazing APIs for you to interact with the chain and deploy your own smart contract. And we need a lot of documentation tutorials and workshops to teach people how to actually use Lotus. So those are the things that we are working on. There's a million of other small things that we are going to try to do in parallel. You can, if you have access to the deck later, you can click on the link for the Notion page. So I'm gonna be assuming now you're super interested in Lotus and want to hang out with us forever ever. So how to engage with us, to know everything I just talked about, we have this public Notion page along with the rest of the Protocol Lab address that you can find our team, our office hour, our calendar, our Twitter account, our roadmap, how we run things, our ideas, all in this Notion page. We started to manage our Twitter account. It's Lotus_@Web3. Shameless plugin. Please follow us. We started to tweet more. If you want for more cat photos, that's the account you follow. And of course, we work in public. So for you to join the public Filecoin Slack, filecoin.io/ /Slack, maybe. We will have a link later. But if you are there, join all these FIL Lotus announcement, dev, help, and network announcement channels. You can find us all there. And of course, open source project, we are on GitHub. We track all our issues, having a lot of discussions, publish our releases in the GitHub. It's just Filecoin. It's under the Filecoin project org in the Lotus repo. Now, we are hiring. A lot of things to do, a very small team, limited resources. That's why please join us, or please send the talents you know that wants to help us to make a Filecoin network better. We are hiring engineering managers, a lot of software engineers, technical support engineers, tech writers for documentations. If you know anyone, if you are interested in that yourself, please click the links and send your resume away or just have a chat with us. I think that's it. Thank you.